Hi, welcome to EasyTender training session video for substructure. In this video, we'll be doing one example on PileCap's entry into EasyTender with their relative outputs and reports. To start with that, you need to go to Civil Wizard, of course after assigning the project locations and the project's main setup that we have done earlier through Tools and assigning project locations. Once we're done with that, you go to Civil Wizard and you have two options, Substructure Reinforced Concrete Wizard and Superstructure Reinforced Concrete Wizard. We'll go for Substructure Reinforced Concrete Wizard. Once you click on that, you'll get the Reinforced Concrete Wizard different elements. So, let me give you a brief example on what each of these represent. Item Selection Group, you don't usually change this, it's already under Foundations or Substructure. You've got Include Formwork Calculations. So if you don't wish to have formwork calculations in your reports, please unclick that. In case you do, just keep it as it is. Next, you've got Concrete Section Name. We're already under the correct title, which is a Substructure Cast In Situ Concrete. And then you've got Formwork Section Name, so it's under Substructure Cast In Situ Concrete. In case you wish to change that, please click on the drop down arrow over there. You can also change into Substructure Formwork, this is our case, or Superstructure Formwork. We're doing a substructure, so we'll just stay as it is. We'll put Substructure Formwork. Next, we have the Concrete Item Name. This is the concrete for blinding, in case you want to find blinding for all thicknesses. Again, if you wish to change, you've got different options in the drop down arrow over there. And then Formwork Item Name, you've got Formwork for blinding, all thicknesses. In case you want to select a certain thickness of Formwork for blinding, please do so. In case you want to only find the outputs for 50 mm, 75, 100 mm, or 150 mm, etc., you need to choose that. For our example for today, we'll just keep it as for all thicknesses. You can change it as per your own requirements. Next comes the shape selection. In case you have isolated or PileCap rectangular shape, you can choose that. For non-regular shapes, you can also select this option. You've got starter for core walls, piles, strap footing, rectangular neck columns, circular neck columns. Any of these options, they've got the same exact concept used for all of them. For our example for today, we'll be doing a rectangular isolated PileCap. Once we do that, I'll show you exactly the same concept that is used there is actually applicable to all of these options. So we'll click on rectangular isolated or PileCap. So once we click on that, it'll take us to the other screen for data entry of the PileCap details. Just to show you a brief view, this will be our drawing as an example for today for the PileCaps. We'll be having two types of PileCaps, as in PC1 and PC2. We've got around 36 numbers of PC1. I have 5 numbers of PC2, of which you need to input into EasyTender. We'll go back to the screen for the data entry. Reference location, parts, remember this represents the project itself. In case you have different projects to work on, please select the projects. Otherwise, the project that we're working on today is named the project. Levels, usually we don't change that. All the PileCaps or substructure elements, we put them under slab of grade. And then you've got number of PileCap types. You need to choose how many PileCap types that you'll be putting into EasyTender, or the number of footing types. So let us check what happens when we click on the number of PileCap types. If you select 1 or 2, directly the inputs here or the rows will be opening for you. So PC1 and PC2, that refers to PileCap 1 and PileCap 2. In case you have footings instead of PileCaps, in which you need to do the data entry for, you click on that and you change again So for example 1, I've got only one footing type, and directly the rows have been changed, F1 as in footing type 1. So exactly the same concept, exactly the same parameters that you need to input for pile caps are exactly applicable for footings, piles, neck columns, and so on. So we'll just keep it as pile cap types and we'll put 2 for our example for today. Next comes the default reinforcement. These are the default parameters that are there initially in EasyTender. You don't need to change or input them again from scratch. You can always change the default numbers over there. So you've got the reinforcement default parameters, a short direction bottom spacing. In case you have it common for all your pile caps, you need to put them there. Long direction and short direction bottom spacing as 0.2 meters. Whether or not you want to include top steel. So in case you don't want to include top steel, please unclick on that. And if you have top steel, what are the short direction top spaces and the long direction top spaces? You need to input that. Whether or not you want to include sidebars, and also horizontal internal sidebar spacing, and in case you have also external sidebar spacing. And the last under the reinforcement default parameters is the chairs spacing. So the software calculates chair spacing in case you click that, and if in case don't, then it won't calculate it for you. Next we have the overlap and tolerance factors. There is a horizontal overlap factor, vertical overlap factor. So what are your factors as per your project parameters or your project requirements? You need to put them there. Inside U-bars shortening tolerance in meters, you've got the default is 0.02, but if you click on the drop down arrow, you've got all the other options that you can choose from. Again, as per your project requirements. Last but not least, under this row or under this column, you've got concrete cover in meters. What is your top steel cover and your bottom steel cover and your side steel cover? In case this is not 0.05 as per your project requirements, you can click on the drop down arrow and choose the different elements over there. Exactly the same for bottom steel cover. You've got different options or number of options to choose from, and the side steel cover exactly the same. Finally, you have got related items thicknesses. In case you have the pile caps attached to the slab, then you need to click on that, and you need to also attach the slab thickness. Whether or not you need to include the road base layer thickness. For our project, it's not included, so I won't click on that. Finally, you've got screen layer thickness and blinding layer thicknesses and the default related levels. For the screen layer thicknesses in meters, 0.05 is a default number. In case you want to change, once again, click on the drop down arrow and you can change the option. Same for the blind layer thicknesses. So I've got 0.1, then you keep it as it is. In case not, you can choose the rest of the options. The related default levels, you've got lower, reduce or existing level in meters. And finally, the top footing levels in meter, we have it as minus 0.1. I will keep it as it is. Bear in mind, if you change any of these parameters, make sure that you click on Insert Default Data. So, as an example, if I got the short direction bottom spacing as 0.15 instead of 0.2, so this change that I have made, I need to click on Insert Default Data. And once I do that, all the parameters will change. So all the short direction are having 0.15, initially they were 0.2. So please make sure any changes you do there, you need to click after that Insert Default Data to implement it in your calculations. So we'll put it back as 0.2 as per our project requirements. Now it's 0.15, once I click on Insert Default Data, it's coming back to 0.2. Now let's start off with inputting the parameters for concrete for each of these pile cap types and the steel reinforcement parameters. We'll start with the concrete element parameters. Bear in mind you need to put the elements or the numbers in meters. So we'll start off with the length, the width, the height, the this is the top footing levels that are initially taken from there, minus 0.1. N refers to the number of the PC1s, the number of PALCAP top 1s. How many PALCAP 1s do you have? And how many PALCAP 2 do you have? So we'll start off with the concrete element parameters as per our drawing. PALCAP 1 parameters are there. You've got 0.9 by 0.9, the length and the width. And then you've got the steel top, short direction and long direction. And you've got the bottom, short direction and long direction. So PALCAP 1 is 0.9 by 0.9. Now usually the software warns you in case you have put a number outside the range that is there in EasyTender. So in case you do, it accepts your number but it just warns you. So the length is 0.9, the width is 0.9. And I won't be changing the height or the top footing level. My project requirements is the same. And then N is the number of PALCAP 1s. We've got 36 numbers of PALCAP 1s. Now the steel reinforcement parameters, you've got the bottom, the top, and for each one of them you need to input the short direction and the long direction. So bottom steel, short direction, and long direction. This is the dia, the steel dia. And then at in meters, this is the spacing. And N per meter, this is the numbers. Now you don't need to put both of them, you need to put one of them as per your own drawing. So bear in mind, if you change the spacing, the numbers will change automatically by EasyTender. In case you don't have the spacing in the drawing and you have the numbers, then you put that and the spacing will be calculated again by EasyTender. Let's go back to the drawing for PALCAP 1. For bottom, we've got 20 dia at 0.2 spacing for both short and long direction. So we'll go back, click on the drop down arrow and choose 20. And the spacing as 0.2, you keep it as it is. Same thing for long direction, you tap 20 and you keep it at 0.2. Next you've got the top. We'll go back to the drawing. The top is 16 dia at 0.2 spacing for both short and long direction. So you keep it at 16 dia 0.2 spacing for short direction. And again 16 dia 0.2 spacing for long direction. So just keep it as it is. Our sidebars are 12 dia, so you choose 12 dia at 0.2 spacing. This is as per our project. Once you're done with PALCAP 1, we'll go to PALCAP 2. So PALCAP 2, what are the parameters for length and width? We'll go back to the drawing. This is our PC2 details. It's 2.15 by 0.9. So we'll go here, it's 2.15 by 0.9. You can use the arrow shifts, the top, bottom, left and right, to make it easier for you to move around. Height and the top footing level, I'll keep them as they are. And how many numbers of PALCAPs 2 I have 5 numbers. This avoids the repetition of different calculations of each of these elements, so it saves time for you. Next, bottom, short and long direction. For the steel reinforcement parameters, I'll go back to the drawing. The bottom long direction is 25 dia at 0.15 and the short direction is 20 dia at 0.15. So we'll start off. So we'll start off with putting the short direction and long direction. So the short direction is 20 dia at 0.15. Please notice when I click enter or the right arrow, the number will change because I changed the spacing. So once I do that, directly the number of bars changes. In the long direction, it's 25 dia at 0.15 spacing. Again, the numbers of the bars have changed. You don't need to play with that. Next, for the top reinforcement, I'll go back. You've got top short direction as 20 at 0.15 and the same for the long direction, 20 at 0.15. So we've got 20 at 0.15 and then 20 at 0.15 for the long direction. The sidebar is exactly the same, 12 at 0.2 spacing. Now bear in mind, since we're done, we click on insert and finish. You don't click on insert and select new location because we're only working on foundation, one level. Bear in mind, if you need to add more rows for different types of pile caps or footings, you simply right-click anywhere and you select Add Row. Or if you want to delete a certain row, you click on that, make sure it's highlighted in orange, and then right-click Delete Row. So once we're done, you click on Insert and Finish. And what happens is, it just tells you to continue this operation will replace all previous calculations, so that's fine, you just click on Yes. And now the software will take you to the parameters of concrete outputs and steel outputs. So this is the final station where you got the outputs of concrete and steel parameters. So bear in mind, this is our project we'll be working on. This is under slab and grade, concrete works, and substructure as the section under this chapter. Next, you've got the items, concrete for single footings and pile caps, and the unit is in cubic meters. Down, this is the calculation outputs. Calculation sheet for current item elements. For PC1 separately, the volume of rectangular solid, and this is the equation parameters, and this is the quantity as 23.33 cubic meters for PC1. For PC2, it's 7.74. Now, in case you want to change from rectangular solid to a non-regular shape, you simply double-click on the equation parameters, and what you'll get is, this is the volume of rectangular solid, this is the shape of it, and these are the numbers or the parameters. And in case you want to change the equation and shapes, you can click on that, and you've got all different types of non-regular shapes of pile caps. So if you scroll down, you'll get the rest of the types, and you can choose from that, and you can change the details and input it as a non-regular shape. For our case, it's a regular rectangular shape. I'll just click and close on that. So this is the final concrete. It allows you to actually check and monitor your values, whether they're logic or not. And per element. You can view these outputs in a report or BOQ format. This is just for you to check the breakdowns. Next, to check the reinforcement calculations exactly from the same sheet, you've got an icon for reinforcement calculations. So click on that and it'll take you to the steel reinforcement calculation sheet. So, concrete for single footings and pile caps, the item breakdowns for PC1 and PC2. This is the length for each, the width for each, the height, and the repetition. Repetition means the number of PC1, the number of PC2. Here it shows you the ratio kilogram per unit per pile cap. So per PC1 you've got the ratio as 163.18 and for PC2 as 227.3. Down below you've got the item breakdown reinforcement schedule for each pile cap. So we've got the arrow highlighted on pile cap 1. The bottom here schedule of steel reinforcement is only for pile cap 1. So you've got the straight and bent bars, short direction bottom and the top, long direction bottom and top, and the internal side bars. This is the dia used for each one of them. This is the kilogram per meters for each one of them. This is the length in meters and the sum of lengths. And it gives you also the total weight in kgs. Now what happens is, if you want to select or check the shape of the steel bars, you click under L for each one of them. So what happens is, it shows you the steel shape variables. This is the steel shape that is used for the short direction bottom. So it shows you also the number of bars of these, how many number of bars of these. And once again, these are default shapes that the software chooses for you. In case you want to change that, again you can go to equations and shapes, and you've got different types of steel shapes. If you have a customized one, you can choose any of these options. However, the software chooses a default shape for you. Exactly the same for top. If you wish to check the shape that is selected for the short direction top steel, you click on that and it shows you the steel shape again. If if you want to check the internal sidebars, click on L and again it shows you the shape. Now this is only for PC1. If you wish to check the breakdown reinforcement for PC2, click on PC2 and directly you'll get the different breakdown of reinforcement schedule under PC2. So if you click on that, these are again the same shape selections. Now once you're done, you can go or click back to main screen in case you are okay with these three ratios for this breakdown, and the sum of the weight for PC2. If you are okay with them and you wish to check them in BOQ format and reports, you can click on back to main screen. Once again, this is the weight for each of the steel schedule there, and this is the total weight, the sum of the total weight only for PileCap 2, and it gives you the steel ratio for this breakdown. If you wish to check the weight, the total weight for PC1, you click again on PC1 and it shows you the weight as 3806 kgs for only PileCap 1. Once you're done, you click on back to main screen and it takes you back to the final station. Now let's check these outputs in a BOQ format. The outputs that we have to see in the reporting solution, it comes under the report tab, and from report tab you'll choose the second option as custom location by EasyTender. So once you click on that, it gives you the location, what exactly you need to display in your report. So expand the icon over there. Under our project, we just need to select the underslab grade because we've done the substructure under that. So you unselect and select only underslab grade. Whatever we've worked on the other floors, I don't want to display them in the report. And once you're done, you click on next and then view. And what happens is you'll get your report in a BOQ format, and bear in mind you can change and you can put here the company logo. This is EasyTender logo. You can change it to your own company logo, and your project name gets displayed here and your project number gets displayed over there. So this is site work. It comes the report in a BOQ format. It starts with excavation and backfilling for substructure only. It displays for you the quantity and the unit. So excavation for foundation required is 31 cubic meters and the backfilling required is 8 cubic meters. Soil treatment next is horizontal anti-termite and vertical anti-termite required is 56 square meters and 106 square meters for vertical anti-termite. Next, if you go to the next pages by using this arrow over there, you'll get the concrete work required for the substructure. So substructure, the concrete for all blinding or all thicknesses, this is the quantity required for only 100 mm thickness because this is the one that we have chose initially. This is the quantity required. Next, you've got the formwork, exactly the same for all blinding, all thicknesses, for 100 mm thickness, and for pile caps or single footings. If you click on also the next page, you'll get the final thermal and moisture protection required for substructure only. So substructure waterproofing. From the inputs that we have put into EasyTender, these are the outputs that we get. So you've got around 5 outputs under the waterproofing. So for example, you've got the horizontal polyethylene sheets. What is the quantity required as 56 square meters. Next, you've got the membrane for horizontal and vertical surfaces. This is the quantity required in square meters. The last two you'll get is a screed horizontal protection, 50 mm thickness, and vertical protection sheet as polystyrene. These are the outputs for the substructure due to the inputs that we have put into EasyTender. Once you're done, you can either export the report to PDF or you can print. This is the end of this video session regarding substructure works. Thanks for watching.